Bryan Kohberger was back in court this week, and what a clown show that was. Let me tell you, none of them looked too good. Bill Thompson sounded like he was gonna cry a couple of times. Ann Taylor was pretty shrill, and the judge was like, "Don't be mad at me." My God, get it together, people. Bryan Kohberger looked like the most emotionally mature person there. So this was all about the surveys that Ann Taylor sent out, and the judge put a stop to it, and she's like, his rights, his rights. When I first heard about it, I was totally on the side of, yeah, they need surveys, they need to see if they're gonna have a biased jury. I kind of think that he should have a change of venue regardless. I don't know why they're really even fighting her on that so much. Like, just give them the change of venue. And it's not just for the impanelment of the jury. It's like, in that small town, when that trial is going on, everywhere they go out to eat, anywhere that they go, and it's gonna be like for a whole summer or something, everyone's gonna be talking about it. So she's trying to gather evidence to show that they need a change of venue, that the jury will be biased, which is fine. And that's why I was like, why are they shutting her down? Why are they fighting her? But that's because I didn't know what the questions were.
Have you read, seen, or heard that DNA found on the knife sheath was later matched to Bryan Kohberger? Question. Have you read, seen, or heard if Bryan Kohberger owned the same type of car reported on video driving in the neighborhood where the killings occurred? Have you seen, read, seen, or heard if the cell phone tower data showed that Bryan Kohberger made several trips near the victim's home in the month before the
out of her mind? If you look at the comments, people are just like so divided on this. Like, they've already picked a team, which I don't understand at all.
That's the only way we can avoid this taint.
Who's taint? Only thing that kind of was exculpatory for him was that they didn't find any DNA in his car, right? Or in his apartment. Yeah, we know what was in the probable cause, but there was a gag order in place right after that. And the people that believe he's innocent are saying, oh, they have no evidence. All that we know about is the evidence that was in place at the time that they got the probable cause affidavit. And so, and that was considerable to just make an arrest. That was a decent amount of evidence because it was all these different facets. It was DNA on the sheath. It was the phone pings. It was cameras showing his car going there. A history of phone pings too. Yeah, that's not enough evidence to find somebody guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. But once that arrest was made, they got his DNA and they collected a lot of shit. They had all their search warrants and stuff because they didn't even have search warrants before he was arrested. So yeah, there's probably a lot that we don't know about that was collected, but people really shouldn't be saying they have no evidence because we don't know that. There's a gag order. So Ann Taylor is put up the survey asking people, did you know that Bryan Kohberger was stalking his victims? Did you know Bryan Kohberger's DNA was on the knife sheath? And the problem with that is that even if people did hear that way back when, you're refreshing it in their minds. You're bringing up the conversation in the town again. You're stirring it up. You're making it so that the jury's biased. I don't know if that's her intention, but I think that's kind of what Bill Thompson thinks. Oh, and the guy that was conducting the survey, Ann Taylor didn't even give him a copy of the gag order and make him sign it.
I can understand that would not be taken. I have to represent my client to the best of my ability. And the reason for that, Your Honor, with all due respect, I was shocked to see the court issue an order within hours of the state filing a motion late on a Friday without giving us a chance to be heard. And that's going to delve into our argument on due process. But since it came up and since that feels like the elephant in the room right now, I think maybe we should just go ahead and address that.
Sure.
And that was my motion. And I asked you to set aside the order that you made without having a chance to hear from us, making a decision that now you're locked into. And it was a one-sided decision.
I'm not locked into anything.
I am not someone that does these surveys. I don't know what kind of questions they normally ask, but it does seem rather outrageous to be asking questions like that, like things that aren't even true, that are gonna, stir up rumors. Like, that's the whole point of the gag order. And so that's what Bill Thompson's arguing.
If I went down to the bar and had a few drinks and was talking with some people and say, hey, did you know about this, about the Kohberger case, and the defense found out about it, they would go ballistic.
The judge is basically saying the same thing. Ann Taylor saying, like, you're violating his rights because we had to stop work on this survey without you even hearing my side of the story.
In my order, I told you that I was going to set a hearing. So I don't know what your understanding is with just the process. Okay, but I, on Friday, sent this hearing. So what are we doing today? Okay, I'm hearing you out. You had notice. I mean, really, that's what we're talking about. That's what the law. What is your understanding of due process?
My understanding is that I should have notice and an opportunity to be heard.
And you did that.
I'm having that now, but there has been a decision made by this court almost 2 weeks ago that stopped us from completing our work.
I just kept circling back to, you really think I violated the due process? Like, oh my God, Aunt Taylor, don't hate me. Grow up here, get a grip. Make your decisions. I mean, I think his decision was valid. He saw what the questions were and he's like, oh wait, shut this shit down and we need to talk about it. He's gonna let Aunt Taylor have more time to do whatever the fuck survey she wants to do. So Bill Thompson wants her to start from scratch.
The defense cannot be trusted.
I think everyone involved knew there were gonna be surveys, but Bill Thompson doesn't want any of that shit used.
In the media, 100% already in the public record. And it is a one-by-one conversation. This isn't something that's being put out there through social.
Well, it kind of is.
Well, now it is, but I certainly didn't expect
400
this.
people, okay? It's planting some seeds where then people are encouraged, or they say, oh, wow, I didn't know that. I'm going to look more into this. I mean, again, we were trying to keep the false information that was out there in media land, that it wasn't going to affect your client.
I agree. This is less than 1% of the population. It's one-on-one. It's not by means of public communication.
They talked to 402 people, and a few of them called the sheriff's department and were like, these people are calling me, asking me about Kohberger, oh my God. I don't know why anyone would call the cops over that, but they did. There's 402 people that are gonna be eliminated from the jury pool because of this questionnaire, I guess. I mean, people hear about this case. They hear random shit about this case, no matter what county they're in, I'm sure. But the thing is, people don't remember unless they're really following the case. And like, I really follow this case, but there's certain things that, it's not that I forgot, but like then when it's brought up again, I'm like, oh yeah. I don't have it in my mind that he's 100% guilty, right? I mean, I'm expecting certain things to be shown to me at trial that will erase that reasonable doubt, right? So even if I heard that like, oh, was he stalking them on Instagram? Like, I know that that was not like from a reputable source. I know that that was just something that spread through the media. If I don't hear that at trial, I'm not going to be considering that that was a fact, right? Maybe some people would, but I mean, that's pretty wild to think that anything that you hear on freaking social media is fact, and you're going to be in a trial and you're going to consider those things that you heard years before. I don't know. The whole thing is whack. I don't understand what the big deal is. Just do the change of venue. Go to a town where like not everyone's related to the victims. But why would Bill Thompson want to fight the change of venue? I feel like that's just such an easy thing to acquiesce to. And in these cases, you want to make sure that nothing's biased, that they get a fair trial, because, you know, then you're in danger of the appeals and mistrial, whatever. So why not just give them everything? If you have such a strong case, just let her have what she wants. Let's get a move on. You know, eliminate all this bullshit and get to trial.